Up 3-1, the Suns have a chance to close out the Los Angeles Clippers. Can they do it? Let's talk about it. Coming up in just a minute. That Jimmy, you want to start off with this?
Yes. The best place to start, NBA playoffs, Western Conference. Jay, we had a game for the ages between the Phoenix Suns and the LA Clippers on Saturday. Game 4 of the series with the Phoenix Suns squeaking out an 84-80 win in what is probably the ugliest, most worst shooting
snooze fest
of a playoff game I have ever seen.
1980s, 90s basketball that y'all supposedly loved so much.
Even they shot better than that. Phoenix 36%, Clippers 32%. But nonetheless, Phoenix goes up 3-1 as we record this show tonight. They have a chance to close it out tonight in Phoenix. As a matter of fact, they're on home court. So let's start with them. So the Suns up 3-1. Jay, now that they have done that, are the Suns fair or unfair? Will the Suns close out the series tonight?
I don't think it's fair to say that. I'm going to say it's unfair. I don't believe that they'll close it out tonight. I think that the Clippers will give us at least one more push. They'll actually show up. Neither team could possibly shoot as bad as they did last game. I mean, it was atrocious. I looked at the box score and I was just like, this is god awful. This has got to be one of the worst shooting performances I think I've ever seen in a professional game. The Clippers were 32% from the field, 16% from 3 at 5 for 31. Good God, that's gross. And they shot 65% from the line. They were 21 for 32 from free throw. If they would have just made like 6 of them, they won the game. But they couldn't even make free throws. And then when you go to the Suns shot 21 free throws to 32. They were 85%, so they missed, looks like 3, but they were 4 for 20 from 3. They were 20%, and then 36% from the field in general. It was just bad. I mean, 59 rebounds for the Suns and 51 for the Clippers. Not to go too far into the boxes and everything, my point behind this is that it was awful, and it wasn't even enjoyable to watch.
Nope.
At all. So I think it's unfair to say that that's going to happen again. I think the Clippers will at least give us one more. I just don't think they have enough firepower to get past the Suns without Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, I agree. And I thought you were going to go the other direction, but I agree with you. I think it is unfair to say that. I do pick the Clippers to win tonight, primarily because they have fought this entire series. And if you look at the outcome of each game, they've been right there outside of the game that they won, game 4. Yeah. But their first loss is by 6, second loss is by 1, and then this loss was by 4. Yep. So they are right there with this team without Kawhi Leonard, who is out for this series. So I think that in between Ty Lue's coaching and on-the-fly adjustments, and with how the team really around Paul George's play, you've seen Reggie Jackson in the other games, let's say before this game, making big shots, and even in the series before that. And usually alongside him, there's another guy who steps up, Terrence Mann, who no one had ever heard, no one had ever heard of, somehow turns into one of the greatest players of all time in these third quarters, and that's helped them to be as competitive as they have been. So you look at this Clippers team down 3-1, yes, but they're just as motivated as the Phoenix Suns. Obviously, the Phoenix know we win this game, we get to the finals, we finally get Chris Paul to the finals, like so many people have wanted because he's had such a great career. But also, Ty Lue has been in this spot, and they know if we win this game, we get to go back to our building for Game 6, where we like our odds even more. We can get past that. Game 7, anything is possible, especially in a series with Chris Paul. But the most important reason why I think that they are not done in this series, the Clippers, is that defensively, I think they have figured out CP3 and Devin Booker. They have not figured out DeAndre Ayton, but they figured those two out, because if you look at Game 4, CP3 and Booker were a combined 10 of 40, which if my math is correct is 25% from the field. And in this last game, they were a combined 14 of 44, which is around 30%. So I don't think that's just nothing. Maybe you could say Game 4 was nothing and then they bounced back and they played well, but they didn't. So there are reasons why, obviously, people could make excuses for both of them. Devin Booker's wearing the mask in one of the games.
Then he took it off.
Really didn't help. CP3 is still working himself back into game shape since he took that time off because of COVID. But either way, I think defensively they have figured this team out in terms of their backcourt. They just don't have a solution for DeAndre Ayton. He's a huge problem for this team.
He is. And if you're watching the video, of course, on the YouTube, you'll see with my shirt, I don't think that we'll be giving the Suns coffee because the coffee's for closers only. And I don't think they're going to be able to close it this time, but there's a chance they can close it at 6. I really want this to go 7.
I do too.
I want it to go 7 because there's been some really exciting basketball, especially in the conference playoffs in between both sides. It's been unexpected for it to be this good, especially with the injuries and the things that we've dealt with, from Chris Paul in the COVID situation to Kawhi Leonard having potentially something torn in his knee, and we have no clue what's wrong with him, and him being unhappy. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Everything else on the other side, I want to see more of this. I want to see kind of I want to be drug out. I want to really enjoy just the fact that we got good basketball, even though the most notable names are not in there that we're used to. And so with that, the biggest things the Suns are going to have to do is, like you mentioned, they're going to have to keep Ayton involved. They got to keep him going. Devin Booker seems to just he'll come to light when he needs to. And it's funny because RJ Bell actually put out a tweet from when Chris Paul came back, RJ in Vegas, one of the Vegas guys. He said the plus minus. So since Chris Paul's return from COVID, the only 2 games, it's a small sample size, but it's still interesting that this is where we're at. First half with Chris Paul on the floor, the Suns are a plus 19 points combined. Darn good. Second half with Chris Paul on the floor, the Suns are minus 31 points. That's a big sway.
Second half?
Yes.
Of these games?
Second half of these games.
And you know why that is, right? It's the reason why they're calling Ty Belichick, is because he goes in there at halftime like you would expect an NFL coach like Belichick to be able to do, and he figures something out to stifle him.
And this is why I wanted to make mention. I made mention of this specifically because of the Ty Lue love. We need to give Ty Lue his flowers.
Yes.
We need to give Monty Williams his flowers
yes.
as well. Both of them are coaching their asses off in this series. And I really appreciate the changes. And when it comes to that, the jokes are adjustments. Like, what are the real adjustments? Can you really make adjustments? What are the actual adjustments?
Right.
There really are. A lot of the adjustments are they going over the top or under? Who's actually in the game? What type of lineups are being played? And then what type of switches that they're going to make with those specific lineups? What are they going to give the team? What are they going to take away? All of that stuff coming in, you can see that it actually makes a difference. That's the change. Same thing even with Monty Williams, playing DeAndre Ayton at certain times when Zubac's out there or not. Just those type of changes. Pay attention to the subtle differences you see with lineups. That's when you see those adjustments, and it's really appreciated.